Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. My bad, bro.
You know Mike Chang?
Yeah, actually, just met him like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
3 weeks ago.
I was looking
Yeah.
at your Zoom pic and I was like,
Yeah,
That's
man.
like
Just
the
met him. That's like your older brother, right?
yeah, what? That's insane. How did you I got on and I was like, what the hell? What was him? How'd you meet him?
I met him at a flow training actually. It was
Really?
yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago, man. It was my first flow training, and I had been going through some stuff at the time for like the past
Yeah.
8 months. And the craziest thing, man, I met up with Mike. I was like, I'm gonna do some flow training with him, man, and see if I can learn some things. And he taught me a lot at the flow training, not just about like training and stuff, but like seeing like through a higher perspective, you know. And as soon as that happened, the day after, I don't want to go too much. I don't know if I'm like going on a rant or anything. I don't know if you had any like planned questions.
Dude, I want to know. I just think it's so cool that like you saw him last week.
Yeah, dude, no, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll go kind of like from the beginning, and like the day that I met Mike, it was like everything like changed from there. Like I'm not even like shitting you, bro.
Yeah, no, that's how it usually is with Mike Chang.
It's freaking crazy, man.
I met Mike Chang and my life changed.
Exactly, man. He's like a mystical Asian god, man. But anyways, bro. So like the last like 8 months, even before 2020 started, it's been nuts, man. I was originally living out of the back of my sports car for like 4 months, and then I was working at a mattress store. I don't want to say which company because I don't want to like get them in trouble or something. But I was working at a mattress store, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna move into the mattress store, and I'm gonna be showering at Planet Fitness. And that was like my routine every day, you know. I would make sure no one else was in the store, shut off the lights, you know, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, and then go to Planet Fitness. And that was kind of like my life for a little while. And then the whole quarantine stuff happened. But the craziest thing, man, is right before we got placed on like furlough, which turned into actual like unemployment, is I had just saved up enough to buy Gary's course, Overnight Freedom, and I had bought it literally the day before we all got placed on, we all got laid off, right? And I was like, holy shit, man, this is insane. And anyways, you know, being that we got laid off, gyms were starting to shut down, so I didn't have anywhere to shower, right? And so I moved back up to my mom's, and she had like kind of let things go a while back, about like a year and a half ago. And so now she's living in a trailer park with my little brother and my little sister. And I was like, man, there's like no space for me up here, but I gotta make it work. And so I moved back in with my mom because I really had no other option at the time. And I was working on Facebook ads, you know, learning copy and all different stuff. And then, you know, let's say, I don't know, like 2 months passed by, and I see Mike Chang post up on his story on Instagram to meet at the Monkey Tree. We're gonna do a live flow training at 7:30 a.m. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna be there, man. Like, cause I had been watching his videos since he was like, he had that like red drink, the Afterburn drink or something like that, right? Make scientists mad or something like that. And so yeah, man, and I was like, dang, I've always wanted to meet this guy, and it seems like he's definitely changed a lot, and I wanted to get, you know, see his perspective on things. And I went there, I did the flow training, it was freaking great. I do it every morning now. And I talked to him about like what he would do in the situation, and you know, I heard him out and I started applying what he was saying, and literally like maybe 3 hours after that, I had got back to my mom's place. I got a message from my girlfriend, and it was like, hey, do you want to come stay here in Houston? We're planning to rent a house, bro. And that was like, dude, it was like I hadn't had my own room in over 2 years. And it's like now I finally have that, you know? And it's like now I have my own space where I can focus, I can hustle. But the only thing I'm missing right now is a freaking mentor.
Yeah.
You know, because like I'm working on Facebook ads. I'm writing copy every day. I'm trying to figure things out. But my biggest problem right now is when the data comes back in and I'm overlooking it. I'm only running like $5 a day right now. I don't know how to analyze the data, what's coming in, and know what to correct and things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like probably my biggest problem right now.
So that's like your just biggest challenge right now.
Yeah.
Analytics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I first launched like a $5 ad, it was like in 2016. I was like, oh, it was scary.
What was so scary for you?
It was scary because it was just like you don't know, it's like when you first start Facebook ads and then you like, okay, like let's put this up and then it just runs.
Yeah.
And you're like, shit, I just lost $5, right?
Yeah.
And then I remember I bumped it up to like $20 a day. I was like, fuck. Like I was so scared. And a lot of it was just because, I wasn't really aware of what someone who is used to spending $20 a day would like act like, right?
Right.
And that's like the biggest thing. So what you're currently going through right now is what I'm going through right now, just like at higher budgets, but just to know that at every single level, there's always this, like, how do I actually read this data? Because it just constantly changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it constantly adapts at $5 a day, $10 a day, $100 a day, $1,000 a day, $10,000 a day, whatever you're trying to spend. There's always like a different mind. So I can't really analyze the data for you because, that's going to be on you. But what I can share with you is exactly what has been going on in my level of thinking that has allowed me to just start getting used to higher ad spends. Because it's like, when you lose $5 in a single day, when you first get started, that like sucks, right?
Yeah.
But then as you grow, you look back and you're like, wow, those $5 wasn't that much. It's crazy that I was ever worried about that once your like identity grows, right?
Right.
But now on my level, right, there are days where I'll literally feel anxiety because I just put like a disgustingly huge budget right on Facebook ads, and I'm like, okay, hopefully we make sales, hopefully we could pay the payroll, hopefully we could pay my video editor, right?
Yeah.
And at those high levels, it's even crazier because it's like you could make a bunch of money, but you could lose a bunch of money so much, right?
I've done that.
Like I remember, like in a single day, we lost like 17 grand.
God.
I was just imagine, right? Just imagine. But just know, like a couple years before, I had the exact same problem, and it was, how do I freaking analyze the data? And that was the hardest thing, dude, because it was like looking at all the numbers and looking at it for hours at a day and looking at it for 17 hours a day just to make sure nothing is like wrong. And even like I still tend to do that right now. And I can tell you, like, because it's so crazy that you're even asking me that, because that's what I'm currently going through right now. Like I journal about it every single day. Literally see like all of my freaking notes. This is like a receipt from like a sushi restaurant. And I was like, I got ideas on Facebook ads. I'm just like writing it down on freaking receipts.
Oh, so that's like different ideas, or like the data that's coming in and figuring out what to do with it, or what?
So here's the thing, right? Like the data, like how I've learned how to read the data is it's a difference between learning how to read the data and learning how to be not reactive with the data, right? Where one is at the cause while the other one's at the effect. One is like you're doing it out of fear, while the other ones you're doing it out of pure power, right?
Right.
And I can tell you, right, the past couple of weeks, I haven't been in pure power. I've been reacting, right? Because some days I'll make a bunch of money for the team. Some days I'll lose a bunch of money, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta find ways to figure this out.
Right.
But ultimately, what I realized is it was depending on, for example, and it's cool that I'm so glad you know Mike Chang, so this will make sense to you. Like, if you were someone that was pure analytical, you'd be like, bullshit, I just want to know the analytics. I kid you not, this has helped me so much more. And that is, looking at the data, right, setting it for like 24 hours, make those decisions at like bigger time frames instead of like on a minute by hour basis. Look at the data.
So within 24 hours?
Yeah, don't like I freaking do this. I'll like I downloaded the Facebook ads app and I'm like refreshing it every minute and it's freaking stupid, man, because you know you may think you're losing money and then sometimes I would turn it off, but then you know the past couple of weeks I tested just leaving it on and then getting more data even if I was like losing money and like a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then the data that I got back was able to then help me make the decision that then allowed me to make all my profit back, right?
Right.
Because when I learned how to read the data and not make decisions fast, I'll read the data, I'll make like the instant decisions fast, but the biggest thing is I'll see all the places that I messed up in, right?
Yeah.
And I'll take a step back, get like a pen and a piece of paper, just sit on my patio for like literally an hour or two and just relax my mind. And start asking myself questions, like literally on my journal, like, okay, how can I 5x return in ad spend? How can I 10x return in ad spend? What is the most important metric I need to look at? Because the thing about all this data is you're like overwhelmed with it, right? You're overwhelmed with so much data and you don't even know what to do. And it's like it can literally be like sink or swim, right?
Right.
But when you know exactly what you're looking for, and it depends on what business it is. For your example, you're looking for cost per clicks and then click-through rates.
Right.
That's when things start getting easier, right? But that's what I would focus on your end is, you know, if you were going to get like the analytical stuff, it's just like, yo, I got to look at CTR rates. Like they teach you, okay, which images have the highest CTR rates. So after 24 hours, I'm going to know, okay, this is a shitty CTR rate. So no matter how much I can live in my ads manager, this probably isn't the image, right? Especially with your business model, that's what I would like focus on. Just CTR and cost per click. And now on the analytical side of things, so I gave you like the freaking like esoteric, oh man, just like write in your journal and like read it out. Now let's go to like the actual logic.
Okay.
The most important things, of course, before and especially if you're only doing $5 a day, you can't really depend your decisions on cost per purchase, right? Because
I'm not even making.
It's just you're not making.
I'm relying off of link clicks, bro.
Yeah. So you need the best thing. You need to start asking yourself this question before even looking at the data.
Right.
Is asking yourself, is this the actual image that is a winning image, right? Because most of it is on the image level, the way he teaches, right? It's like, for example, the health and wellness, there's like this weird pose, and then there's like a highlight on the stomach or the legs or some shit like that. Right? Yeah. You gotta ask yourself, is this the actual right image? Because most of the problem is not the ads, it's the actual creative, especially with Facebook.
Really?
Right? Yeah, like for example, for us, right? We're moving everything towards giving Facebook all of the decision power, and we're just kind of plugging it with a bunch of creatives, right? And it's actually good for you, right? Because in the past, I would have to manually look at it. You would actually have to look at it every hour, every 3 hours, every whatever. But then now it's like,
Facebook
I'll create it super broad and just like say Facebook, okay, I want the purchase conversion, which the way they teach you could actually put like a purchase conversion like in the thing on ClickBank. You could actually see it. Yeah. Yeah. And then at that point, it's really like, is this the right ad creative? Is this the right headline? Is this the right image? Like Facebook is so freaking smart. It can find you the buyers. All you really need to focus on is getting good at writing copy, creating headlines, and then making those weird freaking images that he teaches you.
Okay.
And if you focus all of your time on that, and then less in the ads manager, like I would 80-20 it. I would spend 80% of your time focusing on getting better at writing, focusing on images, and then looking at the best headlines. And you could just do a bunch of reverse engineering of like the top ones, right? Right. And then 20% of your time actually analyzing the data and living in ads manager. Gotcha. Because that's exactly what I forced myself to do this past couple of weeks. I was like there were days when I would wake up and I would look at Facebook ads for just hours, and it's not really even doing anything, right? And I'm
Right.
just like, and I'll refresh it and like,
Where's the results?
and I'm like, what changed?
Right.
It's not a healthy thing too, because you get really reactive, and then a lot of your happiness and well-being and confidence in business is dependent on the minute by minute basis. Right. It's like stock trading or like swing trading or day trading, right?
Right. Dude, I've actually I've been dealing with this thing because like sometimes I'm like, man, I don't have any income coming in right now, and well, I just got a job like literally yesterday. So that's pretty cool. I have income coming in for this again, but I get in this mode where I'm like, I get hesitant. Should I turn it off and save the money, or should I keep it going? But I notice like when I turn it off, I feel like I'm not like fulfilling my purpose. You know, like I'm not moving forward, and I feel like I'm just stagnant. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, dude, this is exactly what helped for me, right? It's structure creates freedom. One of my friends always says, and you need to create a structure for how you spend and how you spend your time, right? So, for example, how much are you making at this job that you just got?
So I'm doing one that's door-to-door sales, and I'm gonna see how that goes. And then the other one that I have to fall back on if I don't really like the door-to-door sales is $12 an hour.
$12 an hour. So like in a given month, how much would you make?
I don't know, rough estimate, maybe like $1,800.
1,800, awesome. So that's freaking awesome, right?
Right.
How much are your expenses?
Not that much. Maybe like $1,200 at most.
1,200, and that's with food and living.
Right.
So then you have $600
to play
left,
ads.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the coolest thing, right? Give yourself, like, now that you have a job, and now that you do door-to-door sales, which you could actually, like, with some motivation, like maybe even bump that up to $2,500 or $3,000, right?
Right.
Like, knowing this and just creating a budget is so freaking good for the mind, because it's like, okay, it's part of the budget, right? It's fine. It's like, okay, I went to college, $3,000 a month is my budget to spend on a tuition. I need to pay my tuition to Facebook Ads University,
right?
Where I might not make any money, but I'm gonna freaking learn a bunch of data, right?
Right.
So the thing about Facebook is when you're beginning at $5 levels, you have to learn not only how to increase spend, but increase your ability to learn how to read the data.
Right.
But the problem with most people is they're not used to spending $5 a day with no instant gratification in return, or $10 a day or $20 a day, right?
Right.
It's like a habit and an identity that hasn't really formed in their brain yet, right? So what you need to do is just do some simple math, right? You're spending $5 a day. So worst case scenario, that's 100 and what is that? 50?
Something like that.
Freaking math. 150, I think. That's $150 a month. That even if you suck for the next month,
it's still in the
if you're making 1,800, you're spending 1,200. You still have 600 left, right? Like if anything, you know, you could even spend $10 a day, and that's only $300 a month, right? And that's if you completely suck and you don't make any sales,
right?
Or if you don't burn, right? So let's actually paint the worst case scenario of you being afraid of losing money on Facebook ads. Worst case scenario, you spend $5 and $10 a day, you lose $300 a month, but you still make you spend $1,200 on your life, you make $1,800, you're still saving like at least an extra couple $100, right, for your own safety and like your rainy day fund.
Right.
This is like just more your high risk fund. But the thing about that is you need to go through this to learn how to survive at $20 a day ad spend, $100 a day ad spend, $1,000 a day ad spend.
Right.
And it's just going through that thing in your mind of being afraid to spend money because you're not used to that, right? But if you give yourself, like for example, for me, I was making money on my eBay business before I got started in Facebook ads, and my eBay business was profiting like $100 a day, right?
Right.
And I was like, okay, even if I lose a bunch of money in Facebook ads, because I was freaking scared, man. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna spend the money that I'm already making, I was a little bit more aggressive because like I was making that money, but I didn't have any expenses because I was still living at home with my parents.
Yeah.
Right. So this is freaking awesome. I'll just take all the money I'm making on eBay and just throw it into ads, and that was what allowed me to learn it because I knew worst case scenario, I had my eBay business. Your worst case scenario, you still have your job to put food on the table, right?
Right.
And it was because of my ability to just allow myself to spend it and not freak out was what allowed me to scale, dude. And when you start figuring it out, you learn really fast. Like I remember, I think October I first started Facebook ads 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was 2015. Because I remember it was like the beginning of it. I was spending $5 a day. I was like, this is freaking nuts. A week later, I was spending $20 a day because I allowed myself to spend more, right? I was able to throw away $100 a day in the beginning because of my eBay business. And then 2 weeks later, I was freaking spending $500 a day. A week after that, I was spending $1,000 a day, and then like 2 months after that, I was spending like $5,000 a day, and I was like,
isn't that like Facebook's limit?
Yeah, but you can always like bump it up, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but dude, that was insane because at every single level, I didn't think I could do it, but it was because the only reason why that was able to happen was because I allowed myself this budget to spend on Facebook ads.
Right.
And even if I lost it all, it was fine because I learned how to finally read the freaking data.
Right.
Like, you can't read the Facebook data if you're not getting any, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you gotta like spend the money. So does that help like answer your question?
That does help a lot. But I guess another big question of mine is it's kind of like 2 in 1 is fuck, what was it? Oh, it's so. Would you recommend I keep doing what I'm doing and just like learn as the process goes on? Or, because I honestly feel like I really need a mentor, but I don't know how to network and get around with one that's credible, you know?
Yeah.
Because I've like in the beginning, I thought I was making sales, right? And I saw I was making sales, but I was like, oh, I might not be profitable, but I'm making sales, so let me start scaling up. And I started scaling up to $100 a day, and I lost like $2,000 and only made like $200 back out of it. And
So
I just
you already made some sales incomes,
right.
Yeah. So instead of like other than finding a mentor, you got to go back to that data and be like, okay, well, I was making sales. Even if I was losing money, I bought some data.
Right.
If you still have that ad account, you got to ask yourself, what data did I buy? You know.
Right.
Like, look at it: genders, demographics, countries. Usually, the most important thing is demographics and countries and gender.
Really?
To find out specific, like what I'm looking at now, it's like I'm really just giving Facebook the demographic, which is the age group, and then the gender. Like, for example, like mine is I think 25 to 44 women does the best for me on bits and cats. But then I just pump it with a bunch of creatives, right, and allow Facebook to do that. So I think first step is go back to that old data and see what data did you actually buy. Like, I have to remind myself over and over again before I make a very aggressive move.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and all this money, go back in other ad accounts and see what data did you buy. And the second thing, dude, is like seeing you're in like the Facebook group, right?
I'm actually not.
Isn't there a Facebook group?
There is, but I don't think I'm on it. Yeah, I probably should join. I honestly forgot about it.
Maybe you got to go on that Facebook group and start like asking around because that program. I did a speaking event in Vegas, and there was like hundreds of people that showed up from that program, right?
Right.
And they all took the same program you took, and they all made money, and they're all in the exact same situation as you, but they all have each other, right?
Right.
You bought the program, get in the community, and network with those people because all those people are in there, bro. Like you literally bought a program with a bunch of success stories. Here's this community, and then you're like,
I'm like way over here.
It's like go in there, see how everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
Like, there's people that are doing really well in it, and then just like that's like the biggest thing, dude. It's like you start off in Facebook groups, you start building a network. I remember for the first launch of that, you know, a lot of people that met in the Facebook group when they went to the live event, they were like best friends.
Right.
They were like talking, and then they were all like networking with each other. They created WhatsApp groups. They created like little masterminds. You could become friends with some of the other people that are killing it that are your age too.
Yeah.
It's fun, dude. It's fun. You just gotta surround yourself with people that fuel you, especially now if you're like around people that, you know, no one really knows what they're doing because you're the only one doing online marketing.
Yeah. That's another stressful thing, man. I want to, you know, I don't want to say people are better than other people, but I want to elevate my circle, you know? Like the people I surround myself with. So.
Dude, it starts in that Facebook group. Just like for me, I join all the courses, Facebook groups that I'm in. I network through it. Like if I have a question, I search on the Facebook, like there's a search bar, and then dude, someone has already asked your question that you're already thinking of.
And then someone's already answered it too.
So your problem isn't that you don't know the answer. It's you don't know the question to ask, and you don't know which search engine to type it in, right? Like I have a freaking question, dude. I'm in so many freaking Facebook ad like groups that I just like ask the freaking question, and then look at this string of stuff. So much answers.
Right. Okay.
I actually have a call in another minute, but hopefully like this helped out.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
For sure, brother. Dude, email me. Like you're gonna get like a email in like an hour or so. Just respond to that and just update me on your progress, dude. Because I'd love to follow up and see how you do in the next like couple days, weeks, and months. So just like respond to that email in an hour, or even like that invite for this call, and then yeah, dude, just update me at least in the next 7 days, so that I see like if you're moving up or if you're going down, and we could just move this on there.
Okay, sounds good, man.
All right.
All right,
Thanks.
later. You too.